Hi, y'all. I am back after a long time because Linda finally decided to do something that sounded interesting. So I'm here to learn about whether or not gray ETs inhabit large Earth underground tube structures. And if you recall, this was something that was found underneath the pyramid and the other disappointing live stream of hers that I reacted to. So let's hope that we're going to actually get some information about that because, yeah. Oh, wait, here she is. Hold on.
YouTube channel where tonight I'll share with you my recent interview about a new book at Amazon.com entitled Angst in the Shadows, a true story of alien abductions.
Okay.
Copyright 2025 by author Eric Nestiel, shown in this illustration with his left hand on a tall gray ET who is bent over Eric while three smaller gray...
Okay, that is creepy. That cover is creepy and it's like hard to interpret at first. And now she's saying it's like a gray ET that's like leaning over this man's body. Actually, it does kind of remind me of that guy who did like the pictures when he was 7 years old of all of those aliens. Sort of similar composition.
With large heads, black eyes, and black bodysuits watch nearby. The author is Eric Nestiel, 56-year-old director, graphic designer, technical writer, and founder.
Does he have a passion for graphic design? Because that cover was not that good.
Of autism information research in Chicago, Illinois. Eric says that he...
Okay, hold on. I feel like I need to look this up. Autism information research? Because that sounds like one of those things that could be like an anti-vax thing. It could be a legitimate thing, but I mean, research. Okay. Okay, well, it doesn't even come up in the initial searches on DuckDuckGo, so I don't know. Sounds disreputable.
Had gray extraterrestrials and their advanced technologies in his life since he was born in 1969.
How would he know?
And in 1970, a year after he was born,
why is it always things that happened when they were small children? Why is it always things that happened when they were small children?
Ball-sized glowing white sphere came near Eric's crib.
It could have been anything. He
He
was so young that he was in a crib, and he thinks he has like a competent memory of that. No.
With light gray skin, large heads, big black eyes, wearing black bodysuits.
Oh my God.
Who placed a black pyramid-shaped technology over Eric's testicles and penis to extract his sperm. Eric says from his...
Wait, was this when he was a kid? Or, I mean, it doesn't look like a kid's body, so... Oh my God. The aliens do not want your sperm, okay? Why would they want it?
Childhood to adulthood. A group of grays like these, wearing black leotards, came often to collect Eric's sperm with the black pyramid device. Harvesting sperm is also known to many other human male abductees, implying that sperm collection is important to whatever the gray ET agenda is for Earth. In fact, the foreword in Eric Nestiel's new book is written by another author and UFO abductee,
did they take his sperm too?
Strieber.
Whitley
Strieber is known worldwide for his groundbreaking 1987 book, Communion, A True Story, about his missing time abduction experiences with gray...
Oh, this is interesting also because I think Ono Ross and Carrie, the podcast, did like an episode about Whitley Strieber in general and Communion, and yeah, some of this maybe be caused by temporal lobe epilepsy, so anyway.
Terrestrials. It was 38 years ago, in January of 1987, that Whitley and I first met, and he autographed his book Communion, quote, "For Linda Howe, fellow traveler between the worlds," close quote. And now, 38 years later, in July 2025.
What is this? What software did they use to make this? This is terrible. I mean, okay, it's a step up from the literal child drawings that were in the other live stream, but I hate this. I hate it.
Many more fellow Earth travelers like Eric Nansteele in this illustration are trying to understand their own strange UFO ET abductions, missing time, and even non-human alien beings that float at odd angles in the air, as Eric...
At odd angles? They're in the air floating. In the air floating, you could float at any angle. It's like if you were on the space station, you could be oriented in any way. You're floating in space. What's an odd angle when you're floating? I don't know. Anyway.
Illustrated here. Eric told me that his gray alien encounters have persisted for 55 years since 1970, while the grays have become, quote, more complex and scary, close quote, to him. Which is why Eric Nansteele used the word angst in his new 2025 book title, because of the fear and anxiety Eric feels as he realizes, quote, beneath the surface of ordinary human life, highly strange events are forming complex, repeating patterns. And
okay, let me say again what I think is probably happening here, and I guess maybe we'll hear a little bit more, but in that picture, that weird picture, he was in bed. So again, this is probably a case of, like, you know, sleep paralysis / other kinds of hypnagogic, hypnopompic, like, hallucinations that are a fairly common phenomena among humans. And he has decided to take this seriously, maybe in some respect combined with some weird experience he had when he was a very young child that he interpreted a certain way. Anyway, y'all already know what I think about this stuff.
That ET and human genetic hybrids and conducting, quote, extraterrestrial genetic experiments around the Earth.
How would he know?
Where gray extraterrestrials
they took his sperm, but
large caverns deep underground, close quote.
The map was shown depicted 3 massive subterranean caverns under eastern Illinois. The map showed up, they brought me to a gray wall, and the wall turned into a screen.
Okay, is it there just because he lives in Illinois? They just took him to the caverns that are closest to him? Are there caverns elsewhere? I mean, you think it wouldn't be a problem for ETs to take him anywhere.
What I saw was a monochromatic, meaning gray tone, illustration of the 48 contiguous United States. And
well, this was Alaska and Hawaii.
In on the Midwest, where you could see Illinois at the center.
Oh, they do look like
at
tubes.
A 30-degree angle. And the 3 caverns were clearly 3D depictions. So
yeah, this is also pretty close to Chicago. I feel like if these existed, we would know about them, you know, because they would probably have geological effects.
The caverns were subterranean, and they're massive. They go from about the southern tip of Lake Michigan down to about Peoria, Illinois, in length. They are parallel to each other at the same depth.
How do you just pull this stuff out of your ass? I don't
underground, know. Maybe 1,800 feet. And then the third one is between them, deeper down, maybe as deep as a half a mile underground. Okay. I've had experiences going back to infancy.
Oh my God.
My very first contact.
These illustrations. What are they? Oh my God, they're so weird. Wait, is he thinking about a leaf? Is he dreaming about a leaf?
With small grays happened in 1994. I woke up suddenly because I felt there were beings or somebody was in my bedroom next to my bed. And I started to panic, but I was paralyzed, so I was shaking myself awake.
Sleep paralysis.
What
did I say?
To wake myself, I shot up straight in bed, And as fast as I could turn my head to the left, I saw 4 small, 3.5-foot gray aliens, and they were wearing black coveralls. And
this is like why I feel like disappointed in these episodes of Linda's lately, because I would love for her to be like, here's a weird piece of metal that like came off of a spaceship and we had it analyzed, or you know, something like that, or like here's an ancient carving that we like think is an alien whatever. But you know, every single one of these things that she talks about that I have reacted to is the same. It's all people have weird experiences when they're children. Maybe they have sleep paralysis slash other kinds of sleep surrounding hallucinations when they are adults. And everything that they are talking about is based on that. There's never any other material, right? So like, how does he know about these tunnels? I don't know. He dreamed that he was inside them.
Pushed out of my room like they were propelled or yanked it from the end of a string, being able to move mechanically on their own legs.
So they were robots?
It is emerging, not just in your experience, but in other people I talk with.
Are these the pictures in his book?
There is an extraterrestrial agenda for the evolution and future of planet Earth.
Yes.
And that it may or may not include Homo sapien.
I'm speculating that even though someone like Elon Musk says he doesn't believe in aliens, I believe the push to have a colony.
Also, aliens probably exist. I mean, the universe is really large. Actually, something interesting I learned the other day is that a lot of people think that part of the reason why it'll be really hard for us to contact aliens is that Earth is actually unusually small compared to most of the sort of like rocky, possibly watery exoplanets that have been found. And basically, if you're living on one of those other planets, they're so much larger and they have so much more gravity that it would be really, really hard to reach escape velocity and like get out into space in the first place. Anyway, I just thought that was really interesting.
Mars, this urgent, like very abrupt push to get there by 2032 or whatever it is related to what's going on. And I believe Elon Musk knows about it and just would never talk about it.
This is pure speculation. This is pure speculation. Like, Elon Musk has said he wants to go to Mars for whatever stupid reason. I hope he goes there and I hope he stays and never comes back. But like, he doesn't know why Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. He hasn't talked to him. Like, my understanding is he wants to go to Mars because he thinks it's, like, cool and that he would like to be a colonizer of Mars or whatever. And it's not related to his gray aliens. He doesn't know that.
He's offered humanity a chance to preserve a contingent of our species elsewhere. And so
we all have to go to Mars if we want to live?
Is the most accessible option for that. But I think that they want us off the surface of the Earth so they can introduce their upgrade. Just as
wouldn't we like be all messed up? I don't know. Like, I'm just taking this from The Expanse that I watched, but basically, like, Mars has a lot less gravity than Earth, and so even if you could solve all the other problems of living there, like, human beings who were born there would like grow up super messed up because they're not getting enough gravity to like grow properly. Anyway,
Homo sapiens replace Neanderthals. Homo exogenous, that's what I'm calling the new version, will replace Homo sapiens.
Why did he make a new word for this? This is not a thing.
An art director from Chicago who has had a lifetime of bizarre encounters.
I guess I'm glad these people believe in evolution.
Elsewhere, and I'm no deeper into the community than that. I'm a lab rat who decided to come out and talk about the experience from inside the lab. And, you know, it's like they hold me up by the tail and stick things in me.
Do the Greys know about your book and what it is that you're putting in the book?
There was one encounter I had where I asked if they could allow me to be fully conscious and in full command of my faculties during a visit. When they take me, could they let me be fully
Look at the alien's little toes. They're really funny.
In charge of my own body. And I was asked, what would you do if we allowed that? I think I was kind of tricked into being honest. I'd tell everybody.
But you're already telling everybody.
Newspapers. I would write a
You're already
book.
telling everybody. You have all these pictures.
And I think it was after that they stopped letting me be awake during encounters. I don't think that.
Wait, so he was asking them if he could be fully conscious, but he already was awake and fully conscious of what was happening before? And I assume that's where all these pictures from. Again, like those little alien toes. Well, they're covered by the caption right now, but they're really funny looking. Okay. Anyway, that doesn't make sense.
Be happy that I wrote the book.
And yet, isn't that sort of schizophrenic? The Greys are wanting to hybridize humanity into another genetic form so that they can take the Earth. So why wouldn't they want this to move forward more rapidly with humans knowing the truth?
It's easier to take something from somebody if they don't know they're being taken from. If they want to depopulate us,
but you know, supposedly,
quiet until it's too late for us to mount an effective response.
And do you think that Donald Trump and...
Oh my God. Okay, they're about to say something about Donald Trump. But, what is this? Why? Why is this the thing that you're talking about?
His advisors right now in 2025 know everything that you know?
This is the kind of information that, in terms of military intelligence, is highly compartmentalized. There are some presidents that are probably trusted with certain information.
Oh, are we saying that Donald Trump isn't trustworthy with the alien information?
Help funnel money into black projects.
President Eisenhower, as far as I know, did sign a treaty that his name is on it with a date.
Yes.
Our being able to work with the Greys and allowing them to harvest fluids and tissues.
Okay, this is like Linda's whole alien thing. Her thing is what the animal. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. The animal killings. Okay, Eisenhower, he signed a treaty with the aliens allowing them to kill a bunch of farmers' cows randomly.
From cattle and other animals on the earth up to a certain point, and that was the beginning of the government making deals with ETs that have been secret for the last half century.
Right, and that was after we started lighting off nuclear bombs and testing. The breeding program goes way back to the last ice age.
Okay, this is actually reminding me, if any of you have seen Dr. Strangelove, this is very the general who needs to preserve the purity of his essence kind of fixation.
And now is to live here and join with us, two species becoming one species. They showed me images of my offspring, images of where they're being kept underground. They even allowed me to meet one of my offspring.
He has children with the aliens?
From an ex-girlfriend of mine's womb.
What?
I did have a conversation with a tall gray once.
Actually, this is weirdly the same as the plot of the sitcom currently on NBC called Resident Alien, where Greys are also keeping people's babies. So this is played out, man. This is played out.
He said that we need to get rid of our nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are awful, and one goes missing.
Yeah, they're bad.
It's a full-on alert to
they're
try
bad.
To
there are a ton of them. It's going to be hard to get rid of.
That I've read, but even based on just what I saw and logic, I believe that they are creating hybrids that are part us, part them, maybe some other animal DNA thrown in there somewhere for some adaptive reason, who knows, but we're being hybridized, I believe, because they want to replace Homo sapiens with a new version of mankind. Mm-hmm. And I think they want to replace our cultures.
Actually, this is weirdly making me think also of Alex Jones. And I think Alex Jones, doesn't he have some sort of fixation about they all want us to be technologically enhanced and have all these like technological implants and become like a new version of humanity or something. So I love Linda. I think that she's not a bad person necessarily. She's not like Alex Jones. That's why I feel like I can stand like reacting to her, because mostly like 90% of the stuff that she's interested in is just silly. But these people do all have these same kind of tropes, right?
With theirs, I think they want to live here on Earth, but they can't live on the surface because their eyes are too sensitive to daylight. They can't handle the UV radiation very well.
Couldn't they like put on glasses?
Just as we, Homo sapiens,
Sunglasses?
replaced the Neanderthals, Homo exogenus, that's what I'm calling the new version, will replace Homo sapiens.
Why do you get to pick a name? I don't like it.
I urge all of you to read Eric Nanseal's new book.
Okay, so there was almost nothing about the tubes in there, and they were not related to the tubes under the pyramid that are supposedly under the pyramid. So, anyway.
Available now at Amazon. Search that title, Angst in the Shadows, a true story of alien abductions. And this week, Eric also emailed...
I almost want to get this book just for the illustrations, because, like, what the hell? Oh, wait, is it only on Kindle? There's no... I want a physical version.
Quote, Bob Lazar, one of the most well-known figures in UFO disclosure, described being briefed on underground installations where extraterrestrials worked with humans on genetic research.
Okay.
He also spoke of massive underground transport systems, suggesting a vast network of hidden tunnels running beneath the United...
How would there be a vast network of hidden tunnels underneath us and no one in the world has ever found out about it? There would be effects of it on the surface anyway.
States, and I personally, in investigations with abductees, have run into people who have described transportation deep underground from like the Midwest to the West Coast, really long tracks. And then...
Is this what we're getting instead of a bullet train?
Eric goes on with, there is the hollow earth theory, which, while controversial, suggests that vast subterranean spaces may house
the Earth is not hollow,
extraterrestrial outposts
the
or
Earth is not hollow.
breakaway civilizations. Some researchers believe that certain deep cave systems remain unexplored because they may lead to active alien or non-human settlements. And, quote, if the caverns beneath Illinois, and this is Eric talking to me recently, are part of this larger phenomena, then I have to wonder how many of these installations deep underground exist worldwide. Could the Greys be selectively placing these hybrid centers near population hubs?
Well, I mean, that's usually where you put transportation population centers, so sure. Hollow Earth, Linda, I swear.
That they remain close to the genetic material that they need. And if these underground chambers aren't just for breeding, but for eventual habitation, what does that say about their long-term plan for the hybrid?
This is like insane amounts of speculation, right? Because it's like this guy, first of all, how did he find out about the tunnels? I don't think he exactly said. Maybe he believes that he was in one, but he only said that there were 3 underneath Illinois. So even if you accept that, like, you know, if you Occam's razor this out, then it would just be like, okay, they just like ended up putting some tunnels under Illinois because they were taking people from Chicago or whatever. But like going on to be like, oh, it's a vast network of tunnels and they use it for transportation and they're like breeding human gray hybrids in there, but also Greys are going to start living there because they can't be under the sun, or, I mean, just like, I just like, and all of this is based on this one guy's hallucination. Like, literal, I know exactly what happened to this guy. And it is just basically the kind of dreaming that you do when you're half awake. And he's just, okay. I need to stop.
The answers are not clear. But what is clear is that the map that I was shown, Linda, fits within a much larger historical and modern context.
Okay.
Whether in ancient
Wait, is
legends,
she going to talk about the pyramids?
UFO testimony, or direct encounters like mine, the story is the same. They are here, and many of them are down below us, close quote. And Ian, I know that you're there and want to say hello and introduce you to the live Earth Files audience now, with having you pick up, perhaps with the chat, on this question that always
all right, now we're going to get random
me.
people's comments.
How many abductees,
I don't know how much of these I can take.
Analysts, how
Usually
many
it's not
people actually know from experience that there are grays that are based deep, deep, deep underground?
No one knows that from experience because it didn't happen.
Our planet Earth. And that what Eric Nansteel's very important work brings to the surface is that we need to understand which non-humans are here and why are they where they are and what will be proposed perhaps in the future. And I wonder how many viewers right now in the chat might
I'm sure a ton of them are going to say, that they were underground too and they saw the Greys and the Greys took their sperm or took their baby or whatever. Because, I mean, attention seeking, genuine delusion, whatever.
Shown or told. How many people around us know that there are Greys based deep, deep, deep inside of our Earth? I think that would be an interesting question to see if we could get feedback. And right now, I'm throwing it to you to see if you have a link.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. That's a fascinating interview there with Eric. And again, his book is Angst in the Shadows, and actually his website, I believe, is Angst in the Shadows.
And if you look in a dictionary and look up the definition of angst, A-N-G-S-T, which is not a word that we all use often, but I remember when I was interviewing Eric for the first time, and he was talking about how that word angst just kept beating in him, that the whole, his whole investigation of what has been with him since his 1 year memory of that white sphere, and he was in the
he was 1 year old? He was 1 year old?
Angst, because he wants to know more. He wants to know the truth like the rest of us. But that
I could tell him the truth.
Gets to a point where it becomes disturbing.
Oh, look, it's her cat.
It becomes such a challenge to understand at the human level of who they are, how long, why they're here.
Look at its squishy face.
And that to him, angst about the current presence of the Greys, and there are others, is to him the important word in his experience and in his book.
Also, I feel like if you were a teenager in the 90s, you know about angst.
Go straight in there to the word angst, because the word angst, as Blue Sky reminds us in the chat, is also the German word for being scared, or I think maybe they mean sacred as well. In German,
Linda, you need to show more of your cat. I can't really see it.
And I believe that Eric is of German and Irish descent as well. And his experiences are also generational. He ticks all of the boxes in a lot of these experiences that other people have been having. And he seems to, as well as starting off with the angst of the orb appearing as a young child, lots of people start off with that memory of just seeing the orb emerging from the closet. And how many people then
hold on, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. I don't know, because I cannot. Okay, wait. Maybe Linda's saying something here. Never mind. We'll listen.
Technology that at least the Greys, and perhaps the tall whites, but the Greys for sure, have used in almost teaching and interaction with humans. When they show up, there is going to be some kind of an exchange with the people that are there. And the very fact that this happened in his first year, having been born,
because we all have really great memories of what was happening to us in our cribs when we were 1 year old and about to go to sleep.
Remember when I have been doing interviews and have talked about orbs, that they're colors. There's color codings, and the green is the one that seems to be more dangerous. And they go orange, red, orchid, white. And it is a technology that I think is extremely ancient, and that the Greys in their presence on the earth have been using literally for millennia.
See, I feel like also, like, this stuff also appeals to me a little bit more, like, you know, okay, think about it as if it were an actual creative writing sort of prompt, and like, tell me about the Greys pieces of technology, and like, what's the lore behind them, what do the different colors mean, and like, what's their culture like? Because I feel like all we're usually getting is people sort of just, oh, I had this dream and the aliens were there and they did this and that to me, and then they left, or they were scary, or maybe there's a little bit of like the aliens were mad, or they had no emotions, or whatever. But like, we don't actually, this is like, it's all about the people's experience, and it's all centered around, well, this happened to me and this is like what I saw, but like, they're not obviously like understanding it, you know, they're just experiencing it. Which, you know, of course, right? Because that's what it's like when you have sleep paralysis or whatever. Like, you know, because sleep paralysis, my understanding, again, is that, like, you're just seeing some kind of vague figure in, like, a dark corner or something like that, right? And just extrapolating from there. So, obviously, yeah, you don't have a lot of information. I mean, I guess this guy was in some tubes, but, you know, I mean, who knows where that's from? That's still not a lot to go on. So, like, I would love to know more about, like, can you list out all the different types of aliens for me and tell me how they're different? I do think that she does have a live stream that was from maybe a few years back that is maybe about, like, the different aliens a little bit. So maybe I'll try to find that one and do a reaction to it next. But, like, I want to know the alien lore, because I like that, right? I'm, like, the person who, like, gets deep into the lore of stuff like Star Wars or like Lord of the Rings. I mean, I don't think I'm an expert on either of those things, but I enjoy the lore aspect of them. So like, let's do some alien lore, you know?
And today, it's like for the first time, orbs, and you hear people say almost immediately, and what color was it? Because we are, as humans now, beginning to associate what we have heard from other people.
I mean, only the people you know ask that question, Linda. Not anyone
interviews like this one and others, that people are trying to talk about what they have experienced directly with the technology side or the being side. And it always involves similar technologies case to case. And
this does make me wonder if, like, hallucinating orbs is something that's common with, you know, those kind of half awake, half asleep sort of like hallucinations. Because if it's this common, and seemingly all of this stuff is like from those kinds of experiences.
This, I think, especially fascinating. Eric's entire life, he has been interacting with these beings.
All right.
Yeah, another fact that Eric brings up are the screen memories he has, including a screen memory for one abduction.
Okay, just to say, if you don't know, a screen memory is like a memory that they implant in you of something more normal or just different to disguise the memory that you created when they were abducting you or whatever.
Where he thought he was in Germany with the landscape, the buildings, and even the children were described as perhaps children would be in a Bavarian traditional landscape. Raven in the audience tonight says, if my dreams for the Greys were real, then they like to disguise the ship as a corporate office, like a boardroom. And we've heard this before, where people have perhaps had experiences where they've...
So you have like a really boring dream that's about you being in an office somewhere, and that was the Greys disguising their spaceship as an office in your dream. Okay.
Thought that they were having an interview in an office in a place, or that they visited a certain place. These are the screen memories that they are able to employ.
This is the thing too, is that like the screen memories, but like I am pretty sure that most of these cases are like happening around people's sleeping. It's either a dream, it's like a hallucination around sleeping or something like that. It's not an actual memory of anything real. It's literally, or like even like it's not something that's happening to them in waking life. It's literally like a dream that they had about being in an office, and like somehow that's aliens.
Just to calm the witness, or to cajole them along with what they're doing, or what the real purpose is. But again, Eric reports the same sort of things.
And Ian, you know how we talk about shape-shifting and the ability of the ETs to be invisible and or take on something in the environment. There is a fascinating image that Eric has in the book about where he's not sure, was he physically there? He thinks he was. Did it go in a craft? It's not quite clear, but he ends up in what he thinks looks like a Bavarian village in Europe, and he was in the United States.
I'm sorry, I know they already described this, but now it's
he
funny
is looking
when she says it.
3 Greys from where he started in the United States, and now they're in what looks like a Bavarian village. These 3 Greys,
Why?
and then suddenly,
it's a
tall
memory.
Grey appears, and the 3 little Greys transform like a jump cut into 3 blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls.
Bavarian children or something?
As if to demonstrate, this is what we can do. That essentially you can't
weird.
trust what you're seeing with your mind and your eye if you're with ETs and they want to shapeshift or change the scene.
I swear though, like also like everyone knows that telling someone else about your dreams is like the most boring thing that you can do, but somehow Linda has managed to make this into like the whole of her recent career, at least. I mean, before she was doing animal mutilations, which at least like that's a physical thing that happened. Like she could go and she could like see the animal and like draw whatever weirdo conclusions about it being alien space lasers or something. But this is like all just people's dreams. Like, Linda, like, can we see some kind of, I mean, that's why I sort of like the pyramid thing, right? Because was that based on someone's dream though? I don't remember. I think it was actually like, sorry, this was so long ago because I haven't done a video in a while. But I think that was based on some like archaeologists who were like, yeah, like we did some sonic imaging and there's tunnels. And I like that. Let's do more of that instead of all these people's dreams. But the thing is, like, I think that so much of this stuff is literally based on people's dreams, you know, or hallucinations. Like, and so 90% of the stuff that Linda is doing is people's dreams.
Test that it is their, I guess you would say, their control over light and matter around is that refined. They can do it so easily. Are you there?
Yeah, you're right. It's as though they tune in to exactly what the cultural references may have been. As I said, Eric,
she has chat disabled, so
Irish and
she doesn't usually have chat
German
disabled, I don't think.
So it would figure that they would perhaps use a German image as well. I worked with a Mexican abductee who here in England had an abduction experience, but her abductors, the Greys, were actually screen memories of mariachis, Mexican mariachis, in the environment.
I mean, that's like
of a coffee shop.
That's like so stereotypical that it feels fake. But anyway, either way, that is part of Mexican culture in my understanding, and she is Mexican. So why would her living in the UK mean that she couldn't dream about Mexican things?
So again, the cultural traditions are represented there.
Well, in this book, I just can't urge people enough to get this
For the
book.
pictures alone, you should get it.
He sent me to look at, it was almost, I think, 30 images, because he's a very good illustrator himself, and
he's not.
Experiencer.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I want to know what kind of software he's, because those are not good illustrations. They are terrible. They are hilariously terrible. I might have to buy the Kindle book. I might have to buy it.
Some of the best illustrations that I have ever seen from what the Greys are in the environment with
Linda,
Eric.
Is that really the best illustrations you've ever seen?
When you look at some of the detail and you realize that the Grey ability to shapeshift, to take over a mind, take over
Where's
vision,
that part?
Eyes, and that's how they can control the environment of the human.
Is that the screen
and that when you finish reading this incredible book,
here's the cat again,
with these incredible illustrations in it, for the very first time in my life, of all of the material for the last 45 years of trying to get to the bottom of what is behind animal mutilations and human abductions and so many things, this is the first time that I came away from all of the details in the illustrations and the very refined visibility that Eric talks about in the book of his interactions with the beings, where for the first time I could imagine that if we were introduced straightforwardly and honestly, that there could be cohabitation.
Okay.
And yet...
Okay. I mean, I don't know why his book specifically did it for you. I guess it was related to these illustrations that are they're just not good. They're not good. They're funny. They're not good. But okay, that's a conclusion you take away from his weird illustrations, is that we can cohabitate with the gray aliens.
People will argue there will never be cohabitation.
I mean,
Humans
I do like this. I'm just going to say, this is one thing I do like about Linda, is that I think she doesn't seem to be she's not like the aliens are here to hurt us and they hate us and we need to kill them. You know, like, I think she seems to want some kind of accommodation with the aliens. Like, let's sign another treaty with them, and like, the government should disclose that they're here in a way that the populace can handle and stuff like that. Like, I do like that she doesn't want to commit genocide against the aliens, because I think that would be bad. She wants us to, negotiate with them, be diplomatic, whatever. Anyway. But yeah, so I think that this is one thing that keeps me coming back to Linda, is that, like, Linda actually seems like a good person. She's just got weird fixations and very low standards for evidence.
They're ETs. But I would suggest, and I'm not sure what Eric would say, but I would suggest that this book is like a kind of open introduction to what humans would have to absorb and work on themselves if we were to end up in a cohabitation relationship with non-humans.
I swear, she is making this book so much more profound than it definitely is.
And that question has been brought up before by other people. And maybe with the appearance now of this book, as honest as it is, with these amazing illustrations that Eric Nansteel has done, that we are getting closer to opening up, because this is the kind of
Oh wait, I didn't realize it. I tried to make this joke earlier, but he really does have a passion for graphic design. He has a passion for graphic design. Okay, maybe that's going to be in the thumbnail of this one.
And more that we humans need, because we've never ever really been told the truth. And this is like a transition. It feels like a transition, that one way or the other, we're finally going to reach a point in the timeline where somehow this is going to be opened up, whether it is a proposal by the governments of the world to the non-humans, okay, you would like to cohabit with us. This is what we need.
I mean, I do think this is how we should approach the aliens if we can.
Ian, if
I mean, so again, like, I like this, although, like, I did read the 3-body problem. I don't know if I finished this pet videos because it's been so long anyway. But, like, you know, the 3-body problem does sort of posit the dark forest theory of alien life out there. I think that was inspired by Stephen Hawking, maybe. But basically that, like, any alien life that discovers another alien life will immediately attempt to destroy it because it is inherently a threat. I think the idea is, like, if you're in a dark forest with you're a hunter and you're in a dark forest with a bunch of other hunters, like, you know, if you see anyone, you should just kill them before they kill you. I mean, I like Linda's approach. I would like for us to be able to be diplomatic with the aliens. But I mean, in the 3-body problem, when the aliens found out about us, they made our solar system 2-dimensional and squished us all flat, and we all died. So I mean, what? Like, again, diplomacy should be the first approach, but, like, just keep that in mind.
You posed a question to our audience tonight. Is there anybody who has had experiences of some detail with, let's say, the Greys, and they've seen the shape shifting, and they feel, that's the question, do they feel that we are getting to a point where
I have to say, this one is keeping my interest longer than they usually do.
Earth with other intelligences such as the Greys?
Yeah, that's an interesting question about whether we are going to be cohabiting.
I feel like this guy's annoying.
The new Earth that they have planned for us, perhaps, or whether they are going to replace us, or gradually replace us, or they're going to be a mix of original ET Greys with, let's say, humans and human hybrids, whether or not the three are going together. It brings us to a question here from Miles Griggs-Slezak. Says, have the abductions slowed down? And Chris Coons says they have been working on perfecting hybrids.
I can't make sense of what he's saying.
They will implement their plan eventually. So whether or not the hybrids and the stage is set yet, or if there's still work to be done. What's your opinion on whether or not the abductions are slowing down, Linda?
Well, I don't know if they are speeding up, slowing down, or neutral, because when I think about the abduction interviews I've done, and I think that it's a fair figure, about 3,000 people I have talked to with at least some depth since 1979.
Is that, like, there was that other stream that was like 3,000 people have sleep paralysis and also equaling abducted by aliens? Is that the 3,000 people? Are these all the same?
And where we are today, I think of themes that have come up, such as the tubes that are in my Glimpses of Other Realities, Volume 2.
Ooh, Glimpses
and
of
that
Other
over
Realities,
the years,
Volume 2.
Tubes have been described by other people who did not want their names associated with it because it implies the possibility of extraterrestrials not only being able to take our biological body, but that they might be able to interact with us at a soul level. And that hangs out there as one of the...
Why does the existence of tubes mean that the ETs can interact with us as a soul level in a way that abductions don't? I really feel like I missed something. They're tubes. What would that... Anyway.
Difficult questions. And depending upon over the years, it is to a point now where I think Eric feels that whatever has been happening between him his whole life at 56 and from age one, like the sphere in his crib, that I don't think that he feels fearful of them. I think he has
they abducted him and
used
stole
to
his sperm. So
how they appear,
disappear,
what they do, the extraction of sperm, and so forth. But what is important are that the layers now, as we are in 2025...
Also, like, raises a larger question of, like, why would this random dude's sperm be valuable to the Greys? Like, shouldn't the Greys be stealing the sperm of, like, all of the top athletes or all of the, geniuses who are winning Nobel Prizes for science or something? Like, aren't those the genes that they would want? Not this random guy who's, like, a graphic designer who may have questionable views about autism. I don't know. And he's not a very good graphic designer. Like, why would they want his sperm? It doesn't seem very valuable to me. I mean, anyway.
And going toward this pivotal 2030 year that's been on remote viewers' lists for a long time, that this may be a crunch time where introducing, finally, actual other beings from someplace else in the universe to humans is going to be important to get through this year to the next 10 years. And it's in that context that we don't have humans learning from, watching, being introduced to. And I think that's one of the problems. We're being exposed because of books and podcasts and television and feature films.
Again,
but the actual interaction like Eric has had for his life with the Greys has not been a common part of human civilization.
No, Linda. No, it has not been a common part of human civilization because most people think this is not true. Most generously, I will say, not true.
By knowing what the abduction syndrome, why are some people abducted and others are not? Does it have a lot to do with Rh factors? It's my understanding from some people in medicine that may play a role.
Is that like
why are there so many abductees that are Rh
positive or negative?
Whitley Strieber has made a contribution of doing research about the different molecular copper in, let's say, a bovine, a cow, in the cow blood. There's a structure of the copper, but it's different from the molecular copper structure in human blood.
Okay, I like
and that it may be an insight into the Greys. It's been suggested in various abductions of these 3,000 over the last 45 years, and I'm talking to people, is the sense that they are not doing anything idly, that there is a specific purpose.
I don't know, it seems pretty disorganized to me.
People that have been abducted. There is a very specific reason.
Okay.
It might involve sperm, and that...
Okay, so, like, you have spent the last 45 years interviewing 3,000 different people about their abduction experiences, and you don't definitively know why the Greys are here. I feel like that should tell us something about these people's experiences.
Illustration that Eric has with all of those white different heads, like a museum or a science lab that you would go to look at what were the end products of genetic manipulation.
Did we see that? I don't
and all of those
that.
Different heads backlighted.
Maybe we did, I don't know.
What exactly the Greys, the tall whites, the reptilians, the teals.
Teals, that's new, teals.
There's standing up lizards.
Standing up lizards?
Greys.
Wait, are standing up lizards different from reptilians? Shouldn't they be the same?
What each one wants or needs is another part of the general population is not exposed. But I personally think that going back to World War II, that it is very true what William Mills Tompkins told me in that 5-hour interview that I did before he died I think at age
He made
94.
the models. He was the boy who made the models.
Linda, World War II was an extraterrestrial war fought through human bodies. And that implies
Linda's favorite
that humans, without knowing, are being allied with or subjected to control or investigation or...
I mean, I feel like, again, like, I know I've probably said this a million times, but, like, I do think we need to accept that horrible things, like World War II, are the result of humans. It is within human capacity to do these unthinkably evil things. And pawning the responsibility off on aliens is insulting to the people who lost their lives in those events, and also just like leaves us unprepared to deal with real conflicts among humans.
Abductions because of specific Rh negative blood factors, semen, that there is something
the number of times
that
that
has
semen
to
and
do
sperm have been
with
mentioned in this.
Biological evolution and perhaps sustaining life, that it may be that serious for some of these. And that is now where we come to the intersection today. Ian, I'd be curious if you would agree. It is this intersection where we are given enough information about ETs that these more complex questions about why, going all the way back 270,000 or 270 million years, depending on who you're talking to,
that
there have been multiple ETs using this solar system and on our planet. And they have always had deep underground sites, deep beneath the oceans.
I mean, what did Earth look like 270 million years ago? That's a relevant question, I think.
Deep inside of mountains, so that the surface of the Earth might pose a danger, so that extraterrestrials who know what they're doing, maybe planet by planet by planet, they're always looking for what are safe interiors. And that right now in 2025, what is one of the most, I would say, talked about subjects of the next decade, it's the issue, will our sun micronova by 2030 or 2035?
That seems like a big problem for us.
The date and the concept of that as a possible threat to the surface life of our planet has been talked about
like
now for quite a while by remote viewers.
But it seems like a problem.
And now we are in 2025, and we are on a planet that psychologically seems to be under a tremendous amount of stress.
Very
from
true.
The 8 billion humans of so many different blood types, politics, everything.
Wait, is the planet under stress, or are the people on the planet under stress? I mean, I guess both are probably true, to be fair.
We're an agitated planet. Is the agitation coming before the event and it's known to the ETs? Or is it
so
not
can we
clear
explain
even
all
to
political
the
problems by the
ETs
coming supernova
what is
of
going
our
to
sun?
happen on Earth's timeline next that could be consequential? And finally, in that whole huge big box of which ETs are doing what with which humans and communicating how, is what does happen if we're reaching a point where we're going to have extraterrestrials on planet Earth with us.
Wouldn't they be killed by the
humans
micronova?
get through
a
possible threat.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's put that way to me, that's when I feel we should all be exposed to every possibility, and that the governments should be supported in telling the truth. But I'm going to segue from that back to Ian to say...
Okay. I don't care about what Ian has to say. I find him annoying. So we're going to stop here because honestly, this has already gone a really long time. I don't usually Linda does not usually hold my interest for this long, honestly. Well, first of all, she usually goes to people's comments, and I find people's comments, like, sometimes they're funny, but a lot of times they're just inane, and I can't stand it. But yeah, I don't know. It's sort of continuing the long thread that we've seen in all of these live streams about things being based on people's dreams. I do think Linda said some interesting things about, the aliens and how we should learn to cohabitate with them. Like, I liked that. I think that's a very Linda thing to say. And again, it's part of why I like her. But yeah, this was actually interesting. I mean, like, the illustrations were just so special. So special. The incessant talk about sperm was interesting, amusing, maybe. I am tempted to buy this guy's book because I feel like it's probably full of those pictures, because I just, he has a passion for graphic design. Anyway, yeah, this was actually fun. I really should go back and do more of these. I've kind of been waiting for her to do new ones that aren't rebroadcasts that I think are interesting, but honestly, I should just go back and do some of the older ones, because I actually, I feel like when I'm doing this, I realize that I actually do enjoy it. So anyway, I'm gonna say bye for now, and yeah, hopefully I will be back with some more Linda at some point soon. Bye.